The Blues might be 0-2 to start this preseason, but there's bigger and better things that I want to talk to you about. I'll explain more coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And a good Monday, September 23rd. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today on Locked On Blues, I'm going to talk to you about how Zach Bolduc is fighting for his spot in the game against Dallas. Also, Utah made history this weekend in the most unusual way. And what do we expect the Blues to do against Columbus? I will discuss that with you here on Locked On Blues. But I do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. As I said, I hope everybody is having a great Monday today. So the Blues did have two pre-season games this weekend, of course, not at home. One was against the Dallas Stars in Dallas, and then the Blues actually did play Utah, but in Iowa. So a little bit of a neutral site, but it was quite the weekend. I do want to point out that yesterday's game, I'm out of market, so I only could listen on ESPN. Great job on the radio call, by the way. But today I was able to acquire some clips and visually see some of the things I heard. And it just, it's funny because the radio call does such a good job of painting the picture. So I do enjoy radio as well. But I want to talk about yesterday's game against Dallas a couple of days ago. Because there was a lot of impressive things that I saw. So obviously, Jordan Binnington did get the start in net in the first period. He was really solid. He didn't miss a beat, and he looked like his usual self. So usually, again, for a player like Jordan Binnington, who is your starting goalie, I don't expect to see him play that many minutes right in preseason. However, it is good to get him, comfortable again and get him back on the ice. But he just played for, Team Canada not too long ago, and he looked sharp then, and he just continues to look like himself. So very impressive, Binnington. So let's go talk about this line. It was the top line. It was Zach Bolduc. It was Boucher and then Neighbors. Bolduc, he was playing strong and aggressive. He actually led the team with 3 shot attempts. Now, I know you might say that's not that many. Dallas was really attacking. It was quite a choppy game, I will say that. So it wasn't the most, flowy type of game. But Bolduc definitely made his presence known. I mean, he was playing in that game. I know he was on the first line. However, the way that he was playing did display a top 6 forward. And I know there's a lot of conversation about it that, hey, he may not be ready yet. But Doug Armstrong did say that that's where he could see Bolduc at, and I can see why. His aggressiveness on the ice was on full display. I mean, he was physical. He was fast, good positioning. I mean, there wasn't that many things I can say about Bolduc that were bad. I mean, I did see some sloppiness here and there, but at the end of the day, he did play an overall good game. Now, this again comes with the question, do you think Zach Bolduc is a top 6 forward? Now, I don't think he will be. I think, again, 3rd or 4th line, and it's nothing on him. I mean, he's young, right? He still has time. I just don't see him taking that step yet. But the fact that he is fighting so hard does show me that he has motivation for this. And this is a very positive situation for Zach Bolduc, okay? It's not just a player who's, showing up because they have to. He is working. And I expect that we're going to see Bolduc a good amount in the preseason. And I'll discuss this in my closing segment. But I just wanted to mention that it is a very interesting thing to watch. And I urge you, the next time we see Bolduc play, I urge you to watch how he is on the ice, his presence. Even if he doesn't have puck possession, and you kind of just see where he's positioning himself, he is positioning himself in different positions that would allow you to take a shot and score. I mean, he is setting himself up in front of the net. He is there for the rebounds. I mean, this is a Zachary Bolduc that is saying, you know what? Hey, I want to be on this team, on this roster, I think I deserve to be a top 6 player. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Again, no, but the way that he's playing, you never know. I mean, you really never know, but I'll explain why that might not happen after the Utah game. So, anyways, Bolduc played really well. Colton Ellis continued on for the rest of the night, by the way, in Dallas to start the second. So we really didn't see much of Binner, but that was kind of expected. So here's the problem. When the Stars scored, again, this is not a normal, like, game kind of recap situation. I'm not really focused on Dallas necessarily. I am focused on the St. Louis Blues and especially the guys that may be younger, the guys that I want to see. The problem is that the defense didn't have any good coverage. And I don't want to say this was on Ellis because it's easy, right, to blame the goalie. Oh, he should have stopped it. The defense wasn't also putting any pressure on the offense, so that was a problem. But again, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Neighbors looked okay. He didn't stand out to me, but he looked fine. Turnover though that resulted into Kasperi Kapanen getting the only goal of the game. So Cappy, he actually was on the left wing during one of the power plays, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I mean, he looked good, and I know that he got re-signed this summer, and I like Kapanen. I do. I just think that you can't expect too much out of him. You can't expect him to have a 20+ goal season. While that's nice in theory, I don't think that's what you're going to get out of him. So it was good to see him, present in the game. Tyler Tucker was on defense, by the way. He did play, and he led both teams with the most hits with 7. Yep. Typical Tyler Tucker. But I mean, I watched him a lot with the Thunderbirds last season, and I went out to a lot of games and saw him. That's the kind of player he is. He is a physical player. He does not care that it's preseason. You're gonna see an aggressive Tyler Tucker no matter what, and that's the style of play that he had. So, anyways, Bush didn't practice yesterday after blocking a shot in the game nail. It did look painful to me. However, Bushnevich is tough, and Drew Bannister said that he had no issue finishing the game. So the big takeaways that I have from that Dallas game, I'll explain. Choppiness, number one, but that's, again, expected. I did like what I saw out of Neighbor. As I said, wasn't the best, but I did like what I saw out of Neighbors. I liked a lot what I saw out of Bolduc. I actually thought Bushi played quite well too. I felt comfortable with him on the ice. And that's another thing. Sometimes when you don't even mention a player, it is because they didn't do anything exceptional, but nothing awful, and they played their role. And I feel like that's how Bushi played. Tyler Tucker, I mean, I'm going to be very honest. While he did have a lot of hits, do I think he played the best? Answer is no. Okay. And it's nothing against Tyler Tucker, as I said, I'm a big fan of him, but just positioning wise, I feel like he could have set himself up in better positioning. The reality is Dallas is a good team. Okay. You saw Casey DeSmith, you saw Dumba. I could go on, and I could list off all of these players that we saw of Dallas, right? Easily. As I said, this is not a normal post-game recap. This is me explaining my concerns and my thoughts on my St. Louis Blues team and what I think they're going to do. The best part about the game, though, honestly, was seeing Binner back in net, because I just feel very confident and comfortable with him in the net for the Blues. So that made me feel good. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there is some NHL lines and some NHL pairings, right? But we have a lot of guys that, might go back to their respective teams and continue to develop, guys that are going to go to Springfield. So you do have a lot of, players that you won't expect, but you're not going to see going forward. So I'm just really focusing on the players I think are going to potentially make the team, which is why I'm not going to waste your time, my time, to talk about players that won't. Now, I would love to do an episode on some of the prospects that I enjoyed watching that I don't think will make the team, but have a lot to kind of offer one day, which I kind of already did with Simon, and, that's fine. But again, We have a limited time on this episode. So with the limited time that we have on this episode, I definitely need to spend some time to tell you about PrizePicks. That is right. So PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do is pick more or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Okay. So, this is what I love a lot about it. Okay. So, Caleb Williams, passing yards gets you 1 win on PrizePicks every week in September. That's what, right? All you need is 1 or more yard, and you will automatically win every football weekend in September. So we have 1 weekend left. So make sure to take advantage of that one because that's a good one. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Oh, what about that? You can also get your money as quick as in 15 minutes. That is right. So you get that dough right me. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means that you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, and you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I know. How awesome is PrizePicks? It is the absolute best. So download the PrizePicks apps today and use code locked on NHL and get up to $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code locked on NHL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. So we had a historic moment last night, or the other night. I don't know what day it is because I am losing my mind. I'm pretty sure it was last night. Yeah, it was last night. I don't know what day it is anymore. Hi guys, I'm Haley and I don't sleep. Okay, Utah scored their first goal as an organization. So congratulations. Except it was their own first goal. Like they scored on themselves. Yep, that is right. So thank you, Utah. What a weird way to kind of like start your franchise's history. Now, I just want to point something out to you. I know this may not mean anything at all, but we have some really good admins when it comes to the St. Louis Blues' Twitter page. And they said, congratulations to Utah on their first goal as a franchise. So then I replied and said, the admin deserves a raise. And it got like the most likes on my ratio. And then people thought I ran the account, by the way. I don't run the Blues account at all. But I did think the admin was very funny for that. No, so what happened was, because he may be like, Haley, what happened? What? Okay, let me explain. So they scored their first goal in themselves because their goalie wasn't in the net because there was a delayed penalty. The puck was passed and it just shot way over and boom, it got in the net. Malmstrom, however, an undrafted free agent, did get the credit for their own goal. So that's, yay, that's a great way. And we'll hear from him too in today's episode. But yay, that's a great way to started off Utah, let's go hockey club. No, but it was actually, they won. And I know preseason wins and losses, I talked about this, doesn't really matter, but no, they actually did play fine. And we saw Logan Cooley, which I'll talk about. However, I really want to focus on our guys. So I can talk about, listen, Joel Hofer, he saved all 13 shots, fine. I mean, play him a little bit, that's fine. Dylan Holloway made his Blues debut along with Faska and Broberg and my boy Dvorsky. However, though, I don't think Dvorsky stood out to me. He didn't look bad, okay, but he still looked like he was adjusting. And I know having Shenny, with next to him was definitely helpful. But at the end of the day, here's the thing about Dvorsky. He says, I'll do whatever it takes to make the team. I want to make the team. His goal is to make this team. And I believe that he could make the team, right? But I mean, these games, I know for a guy like Braden Shen, we know he's going to make the team. Obviously, he's our captain, well established, he's going to make the team. When it comes to a guy like Dvorsky, it's very possible that he could be sent down to Springfield and play for the Thunderbirds. Nothing wrong with that. I want to make that note. Nothing wrong with playing for the T-Birds. I just think, though, if that is his goal, he needs to do what Zach Bolduc did against Dallas and just prove why he deserves to be on this team. I think that, Doug Armstrong, when he spoke, I really did listen to what he had to say. I listened to what Drew Bannister had to say. They want to put him in a position where he would most likely end up being in the NHL, even if it's a couple years down the road. So I think that the way that they see him is they want to develop him right. They want to make sure this process is right, but they're not going to fast track him if he isn't ready yet. Last night, do I think he looked ready to be in the NHL? No. And I don't mean that because I don't think he can get there. I just think that it was his first preseason NHL game. So I'm curious, if he does play against Columbus, I'm curious how he will look then. I mean, he didn't look bad, so it wasn't like one of those situations where I'm like, oh no, this is a concern. But at the end of the day, I think he just needs that time to continue to develop. Again, not a bad thing, but just a reality type of situation for him to be in. Okay, so Dylan Holloway scores on the power play. It was a great pass, by the way, from Captain Braden Shen off the rush. That was a beaut. So huge dub for that. It's also Dylan Holloway's birthday today, so happy birthday to you, Dylan. Thank you again for being so happy about being here. Simon Robertson, he did tie the game at 3, and he slammed that puck in the back of the net. It was an absolute beaut again. Simon Robertson is a guy that excites me. I know that he probably... Okay, yeah, he's not going to make the team, but it is cool when you do have a prospect that is showing you good things. So it's a great goal. Scott Perunovich, he got beat through the middle of the ice, which kind of led to Logan Cooley's penalty shot, which, by the way, did result in a goal. Oh, man, Scott Perunovich. He's another player that is fighting for a spot. I mean, Bannister, everyone said it, that they would consider him to kind of do what Torrey Krug did on the power play. I expect a lot of things from Perunovich, and he is battling, but his game last night just didn't look the best. It wasn't the cleanest. He wasn't defensively as strong as he usually is. Now, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt that this is the first, preseason game for him. I know it's the second for the Blues, but first for him. So we'll see how it goes, but I was a little disappointed in his performance last night. So... Again, the Blues do play on Wednesday, but I do something really special for you. It's a new segment I want to try out. So the Blues' PR team, they send out, the different post-game, interviews and things like that. So I'm going to play for you birthday boy Dylan Holloway and Malmströms, and you can hear that, and I will check in with you right after. And this was the new element, by the way, I was talking on Twitter that I was adding to the show, just because it gets you that exclusive Blues access. Take a listen.
The new team, did you get out of it what you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. Obviously, we didn't get the win, so that was disappointing, but I thought the boys played good. I think, first game is always difficult, kind of getting back into it, but, I think we played well. Had some good goaltending, and, I think a lot of stuff to learn from.
How difficult is it after a few months off to get your legs in that first game?
Yeah, it's always a little different. No matter what you do in the summer or training camp, nothing kind of replicates game shape. So it's good to get the first one out of the way, and I'm excited for some more.
What about that first goal that you scored? How much fun was that?
Yeah, that was great. It was great to get the first one, kind of get on the board there. It was a hell of a pass by Schenner, so all I had to do was really kind of put it in the net. But it was good to get that one.
I know you guys are just trying to get your feet wet, not the result you want, but overall, just how do you feel about the game and how it went tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Obviously, pretty young lineup, and I thought everybody played pretty solid. I think I thought we did good. I thought all around it was kind of a little bit of a sloppy game, but it's kind of as expected as the first game back, and I thought the boys did good.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Dylan. Just this game tonight, did you guys get what you wanted out of it?
I think the boys worked hard, really proud of all the guys here. A lot of younger guys, including me. I think we did a good job. Obviously wanted to get the win, but didn't. But really proud of the effort, yeah.
Younger guys playing in NHL preseason games, how much fun is it for you?
Oh, it's awesome. It's everything like you dreamed about. It was my first game with the St. Louis Blues crest on, so it's really proud, a little bit nervous, and but really fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, walk me through that goal. That's got to be one of the easiest goals you'll ever score.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know about it. They asked me. Well, we were just chasing the puck around. I guess I got a holding penalty, and then it ended up in their net. Like they passed it in their own net, so ended up going to the penalty booth, and they asked me if I was the last guy on it, and I said I didn't know, so. But eventually heard it, so it's pretty cool, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. That's all.
So yes, that is the new segment. Let me know if you want that. I'm going to do a couple minutes. When it's significant, nothing crazy, but I wanted you guys to get a feel for what that would be like. So yeah, it was really cool hearing from both of them. And as I did mention on Holloway's goal, I did talk about how Captain Brandon showed with a nice pass. But yeah, no, I had to talk about that again. Like, you have to go and watch the video of it. It was an absolute beauty. So 100% go check that out. All right. Well, we've talked about the two games, but I want to talk about what I, expect to see next from the Blues when they play Columbus on Wednesday. But before I do that, I'm going to talk to you about my friends over at FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place the bet. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Personally, I love betting during the game. I know people do their futures. I am let's draw up a bet as this game is going on. So I'm going to tell you a couple games that maybe you should go think about betting on, because this is the best time to bet. Football season's best time to bet. So let's go. Okay, we're not even going to bet on Monday night's games because, stupid. But let's go look at Thursday night. You have the I'm laughing because I hate both of these teams. I can't tell you to bet on. Oh my gosh, you have the Giants hosting the Cowboys. Obviously, the Cowboys are going to win, so just do a money line on that. But if you want to do a bet within the game, I would actually potentially consider doing the Saints and Falcons and wait to see what's going on with that one. And maybe, just maybe, I would take Kirk Cousins on 2 passing touchdowns. But that's just a hunch. But again, that's what FanDuel is for. So again, FanDuel.com. The Blues play Columbus on Wednesday. And I know what you're thinking. Hale, what do you want to see? Well, I'll tell you what I want to see, okay? I think it's really important to see some of the guys that did draw up a little bit of concern. So maybe a Scott Perunovich again, a Tyler Tucker, even a Dvorsky. I would want to see them play. I think my biggest thing is getting maybe some of the newer, younger guys more reps on the ice, which is really important. And again, I think playing against Columbus, is Columbus the best team? No. But at the end of the day, I think that it's just getting more reps on the ice. I feel like I saw, good things out of our goalies, especially Binner and Hofer. So I'm fine on that. Play everybody else. Ellis, I don't care. Maybe don't play Bush because, you don't want him to be hurt heading into the season. But the Joseph brothers, I don't think I talked about them. They played against Dallas the first game. And P.O., I kind of like what he's doing. So maybe I'd play the Joseph brothers again. I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys that I would like to see, but I think the most important thing is you're going to be heading to your third preseason game. Your guys mostly all played in both of the games. So now it's about cleaning it up and constructing and conducting those more NHL-ready rosters. I think that, again, I liked what I saw to Foxa. I mean, there wasn't many that I didn't like. And again, these are players that I think are actually going to make the team. However, I don't want Simon Robertson to get cut. So I'm just hoping that he doesn't. I know cuts are going to happen soon, and I'm going to be really upset because that's just the name of the game. But I am just excited about the potential of Simon Robertson, which is why I've talked about him so many times on this podcast already. But There are so many more things and so little time to talk about. So this is what I want you to do, St. Louis. Another element to the show going forward is going to be a Q&A at the end of each episode. I'm not going to do it today. I tried a little bit on Friday to see how you would feel, but I'm going to leave this up to you on YouTube or you on Twitter, where you can ask me a Blues question. Now I'm going to select a couple questions each episode to kind of quickly discuss and go over. That way your involvement is involved, because I want you to feel a part of this podcast and this show. We've been going on for a year now. I feel like we're family at this point, and I just want to be able to give you the best Blues coverage possible. So that being said, I will talk to you tomorrow. I am 5 days a week on this podcast, but I am always active on Twitter at Locked On Blues. So make sure to check it out there. And I will see you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.